波斯托尔称，披露美国策划炸毁北溪管道的美国记者西摩赫时，曾经向他求证过炸毁北溪管道是否可行。波斯托尔当时的回应是，要想完成这一任务，不仅需要潜水员，还需要非常精密的水雷。
Hirsch reports that they dropped the sonobuoy in the water to trigger the mines. Well, to a non-expert, that seems like a straightforward thing. To an expert, that is not straightforward, because the sonobuoy emits, and the sound, let's say here's the mine, the mine gets a signal from the sonobuoy, but it also gets a signal that bounces off the bottom of the shallow water, bounces off the surface, and bounces back so it gets a mix of signals. And the mix of signals can be many different. So I need a very sophisticated system to recognize that this is the pulse you intended to send. And it has to be sophisticated enough to not mistake that pulse for other sound sources that are from all over. So it's straightforward technology for today, but it's not in everything.
波斯托尔同时表示，北溪爆炸事件事发地区的水很深，要想完成爆炸的准备，需要很专业的潜水技术。潜水员能在水下操作的时间并不会太长。
To determine that the water depth was about 260 feet, so that's maybe 80 meters. That's very deep for diving. What happens when you dive is the pressure of the gas in your body gets compressed by the outside pressure. You get up to about 8 atmospheres of pressure. This causes the oxygen to be forced into your body's cells and causes oxygen poisoning. It's known among advanced divers, specialists, and you can only operate for a short time at these depths.
波斯托尔说，导致北溪管道被破坏的水雷重量都很大，只靠单人无法完成，必须有类似小型单人潜艇、减压舱等专门设备的配合才行。
There are hundreds of kinds of devices that have been invented over many years of deep diving. I have no way of knowing what it was, but they must have had this kind of device working. They also had a decompression chamber underneath because when these people come up, they die unless they have a decompression chamber. They can come up very slowly, but if they come up very slowly, the time of the operation becomes extremely long, and the danger becomes much longer, because if you somehow made a mistake and you needed longer time for decompression, you may not have it. So having a decompression chamber is critical. If you're going to keep the diver, you're going to protect the divers from dying.
波斯托尔表示，如此精密的行动必须是非常先进的工业国家才行，而不会是像《纽约时报》那样报道的是一群亲乌团体就可以完成。
They're not a group of people on a yacht like the New York Times pathetically. It was a pathetic discussion. The New York Times is guilty of this. I mean, very guilty of this. There are articles on subjects that I'm deeply knowledgeable about that I would not call wrong. I would call them fabricated.